Okay, hello everyone and welcome to an end of week remarks video. Let's quickly start with the PNL. We are up 2.8k USD this week, and let's just start with the winners first. Starting off with the biggest winner, which is silver. So nothing unusual. By this At this point in time, I guess most of you, if there are any regular watchers, must be familiar with this setup. So we get a clean break and hold above the last week's high, and we also get a clean break and hold above its 1.2x extension. Okay. In this case, you'll see that the target was hit first. Okay. And then we dropped off and I got my fill. So why did I decide to keep the orders even after the target was hit? It was due to the market conditions. The market conditions were very bullish, and contextually I said to myself, why not? Why can the market not put in a higher low here and go for a higher high? So yes, I could have used that as my target, because if we are trying to predict a higher low, let's go for a higher high. But for some reason I decided to stick with the technicals, maybe because in real time I was actually regretting keeping the orders on, because the target was already hit, and time and again I have been stopped out on these kind of trades in where the target hits first, and then as soon as it fills me, bounces a little and then stops me out. So when the market started moving in my favor, okay, I said, you know what, let's just go for a technical target and be done with it, which is what we did. And that turned out to be our biggest winner. Now think about it. If I just let it run and go to its original target, that would have been quite an insane gain. But that's okay. Yeah. That is a limitation of my system. Honestly, I need to work on it a lot to be able to catch this kind of a move. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is again gold. So gold, in case of gold, it was purely technical, and it worked out quite brilliantly. Again, same thing, right? It's the same thing over and over again, over and over again. I've told you, I keep things simple. I am too dumb to have 3 or 4 or 5 different strategies. I only have one strategy, and it works out for me. I've tested it time and time again. It works out for me. Okay. So there's the break above the last week's high and also the last month's high. We have a clean break and hold above the 1.2x extension, which means that the market says it can go towards the 1.5x extension. Okay. That's the whole theory. We go from one fib level to another fib level, and that's about it. So stops, logic behind the stops was quite simple. These two are gap candles. One is from Friday and one is off of the open. I said the market won't reverse both of them. It can reverse one, which it did, but it won't reverse the other one. So that was my stops. Quite safe actually. Only about 10-15% in drawdown, and then hits target the next day quite brilliantly. Nothing more to explain. Could I have gone for a better target? Yes. Does that matter to me? Actually, no. Because as I said, that's an overall issue with my system which I need to work on. And yeah, that's about it for gold. To me it looks very simple because I do this week in week out. If you have any doubt or query regarding this setup, or why did I decide to go for an entry there and stop there, you could ask away in the comment section. Well, if you have made it this far, I know most of you are out by this point in time. So we're done with metals, and next thing we are gonna move to are the US indices. Now, if you remember, okay, I had posted this on the community tab. So okay, so there's the community tab, and I had shared this Tokyo low double sweep. This is something I wanted to go over in this video. Okay, let's just go over that. Let's just go over these trades. So as you can see, the trade actually has been stopped out without hitting the target. A lot of things to go over here, but firstly have a look at the PNL. So both of them are in positive. We are currently looking at the US 500 on our charts. So the PNL on US 500 is about 422 US, which is basically my panic close. So first things first, let's go over the strategy. So I dropped down to minute 5 on this. This is one of the few strategies where I drop down below M30. So there's the sweep. Okay, Tokyo sweep number 1 in there, Tokyo sweep number 2. I remember that I've already told you guys, sweep number 2 doesn't really give a retest, but in this case it did. Okay, it came back down to our entry, filled us quite nicely. Okay, and in case of target, what kind of a setup was this? So this was a threaten of the poor highs of the previous week. So the trade is quite simple. Let me show you this. So this is the last week's low and this is the last week's high. If the market, okay, drops below the last week's low, and contextually I believe that this market is going to go up. So how I go about playing that is I target any poor highs that have been left behind from the previous week. So you need poor highs left behind from the previous week, and once the market baits below its last week's low, I go long, right, targeting the poor highs of the previous week. This was the strategy behind this trade. And whoa, okay, as you can see, it did hit the poor highs of previous week. So poor highs of previous week, it would have been there. Okay, there anywhere in there, or simply you could say that any move above the monthly weekly open is a closure. I got greedy. Okay, I got completely greedy with US indices and I decided to target a new high, which didn't happen. Right, market started reversing. So when the market was reversing, I actually panic closed my trades because I did not want to give away my PNL. I think the setup is bang on. The PNL at that point in time was bang on. So I said, you know what, let's not destroy it. And it was too late in the night for me. So I decided to close and sleep. And then I woke up and saw, okay, the over enthusiastic target was not hit and we were stopped out. We were indeed stopped out. So it was a very wise decision to close these two trades. I'll go over NAS 100 as well. What else do I want to show? Yes, where did I close? Yeah, good one. So you can see, right, I am not lying. You can see that I closed it straight there. It was a panic close. So I just, you know what, just be done with these trades. Target has been hit. In case of NAS, it was way more obvious than S&P that the target was hit. But then again, I was greedy. So I closed there NAS. So I closed NAS there. And you can see, right, the poor highs are pretty much in there off of the previous week. And the market did breach them and it gave a sort of a glimmer of hope that it would go and break above the previous week. So I may even target that. It then completely sells off. Okay. So in case of NAS, it was way more obvious that the target was completely hit. But then again, decided to be greedy and hold on to the trades. I ended up giving away not a lot in case of NASDAQ, but still, this is quite huge because if it's only a 1.8 hour trade and you give away 0.3 hours, it turns out to be a 1.4 hour after fees and everything. So not good, because this loss of minus 0.4 hour actually came from us, or came from me being greedy, which is not good, just not good. So overall, actually unhappy with the quality of trades this week, because if you look at metals, we've sort of failed to optimize our gains, right? Be more efficient with the gains. Could have targeted a high. Same thing in case of S&P. Could have been done there in case of NASDAQ, and similarly in case of S&P. Didn't do either, and then ended up paying a price. Right? PNL could have been a lot more than this. Okay, now let's go over the losses. So you can see it's NZDUSD and it's USD-CAD. Both of the trades I took and I lost out on. So let's just quickly go over them. I'll go over EG as well. So in case of NZDUSD, we had a short order there. Okay, and stops were about there. Target was there. The logic behind going behind this trade was the market has baited the 1.2x fib level. We have a clean break and hold below the previous week's low. The market is going to go to the 1.2x extension first before it goes anywhere else. It didn't. Okay, just to put it very bluntly, I was wrong on this idea, and I got stopped out, rightfully so. Market's reversing now, so but then again, it's Friday evening. I don't care whatever the market does. It's just only about like 5 hours since 5 hours for the market to close. I'm not trading these 5 hours. I'm done with the week. Moving on to USD CAD, I genuinely believed that this was a very, very good trade. Okay. In my opinion, this was a very good trade. It got stopped out and now it's gone to target. That doesn't matter. But I'll just go over it and tell you guys why I feel that it was a very good trade. So we have a clean range high there, right? Which actually turns out to be a pivot later on because the market just hovers around that level too many times. So I just label it as a pivot instead of a range high. Okay, so let me just have a look. It's recording, right? Yes. So this was our range high. Okay, this looked like a deviation. Okay, this looked like a deviation, but then the market went in there, took out some lows and broke the market structure. So it was a logic which is very similar to the S&P trade and the NASDAQ trade. We were trying to trade a setup which is the threaten of the week's poor highs, previous week's poor highs. So once we get a blip below the previous week's low, any poor highs above, right, which in my opinion were actually above, up there, should get taken. So we took that trade because we thought that the market's gone below a key pivot. It's taken out that low, it's broken the market structure, it's also made a higher high. On top of that, the market made another higher high there. So any pullback below this local support level should be a nice entry, and the market should reverse from the monthly open at the maximum. It didn't. As soon as the services PMI came, the market actually capped down and stopped us out. So it was actually quite brutal. It was very quick. Very, very quick. I'm going to show you on the minute 5 actually. Can I just zoom in? Yeah. So there it is. You can see that gap there. Gaps down and immediately stops us out. Okay. And now it's gone into target. But okay, that doesn't matter. So in my opinion, it was a very good trade. Didn't work out for us. That's okay. Not a problem. We move on to the next one. So overall this week, in terms of the trades we lost, I don't think I could have done anything better. Okay. At the maximum, I could have not taken the NZD USD trade. Okay. But then again, if every single XXX USD pair is short, why would you not short the one that's the weakest? So in our case, it was NZD USD which was the weakest, and we shorted that. Didn't work out. That's fine. Not a problem. USD CAD brilliant trade in my opinion, should have worked out. It didn't. That's fine. Move on to the next one. Where I could have worked better is take profit on NASDAQ and S&P could have been way better, especially on NASDAQ, since it was pretty obvious that that's it, right? That's it. The poor highs of the previous week have been taken. So why would you not close your trade? And yeah, so that's it. Then nothing more to comment on. Need to work on TPs. Well, not need to work on TPs, but rather stop being greedy with the trade. Quite an old issue with me. And with in case of S&P, in case of metals, I really need to work on my system here, because a time and again I've seen that I tend to miss out on the big moves if I stick to the technicals. But when I try to go for the big moves, the technicals do end up sort of dominating in that time period. So yeah, something related to macro that I need to fix in my system. I'll go over it some other time. Let's take a look at the final trade, EG. So there's EG. So I had said improvise, adapt to improvise, adapt, and FP. So what I meant by that was this. So again, deviation, tests a local low, doesn't go towards the range low, starts to get bought off, closes above the range high. That's it. That's no longer a deviation. That is a range break attempt. This is a full reset, and the market's probably going to go for a higher high. And we decided upon that. We placed a long order, and the market didn't actually fill us. It came down there, but didn't fill us, and it's now pretty much gone to the target. Even if it is not into target, I would not keep any orders at this point in time. It's just 5 hours to the market close, 5-6 hours to the market close. I don't really want to get into any other trade. Okay, so you can see the idea behind EG long was simple. Wanted to go for that Kumo. It still is very far away from that Kumo, so again we'll come and try next week. Okay, so that's it for the end of week remarks video. I'm up 2.8k this week. Decent, but could have been way more if I would have worked on the optimization of my trades. So bye bye, take care, see you next week in an analysis video.